Hey, do you want to feel more fulfilled? Learn how gratitude and contentment can help with that, can transform your life, actually. It says in Philippians 4:12, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation. And verse 13 says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, or who strengthens me. You see, contentment and gratitude are something that we do, but God gives us the strength. Our act of telling God, hey, you've done so much for me. Thank you for all that you've done for me. And being content. I'm still learning that. It's so difficult. But I've also learned recently, because I believe in Jesus and a counselor, therapist, whoever you see. But I did some work with my counselor this week, and she said, what is it that's making you feel like it's not enough? That you're always fighting for more because there's not enough. And so we're digging a little deeper in that. And it's not that I'm not grateful, because I do, express gratitude. It's not that I'm not content. I am so thankful for, I can look around my house and look around even this room that I'm sitting in, even this computer that I'm talking in to talk to you right now. And I can tell you how grateful I am for all those things. But it's so important to express those things. But I also know that when you've been through trauma, as if you're listening to this, you probably have, because this is 30 ways in 30 days to overcome trauma. And again, I've said this before, there are more ways, but this is just a challenge that I'm doing to help you and to help myself to remember some of the things that have helped me along the way, because there are things that we go through in life, especially when you're a believer and you are a child of God and you're walking through and recovering still from the things that you've been through, that we just get triggered by. It's bound to happen. We live in a fallen, broken world, and these things that we face and things that we deal with cause us to get triggered by something. And it could be an emotional response. It could be a verbal response. It could be none of those, and you distance yourself and find something to fill the void. And none of those help. Just so we're clear. It says, I said it in one of the other videos, Nehemiah 8:10 says that the joy of the Lord is our strength. We find joy in the Lord. No one else can fill the void. Nothing else can fill the void but Jesus and a relationship with God through Jesus, by the filling of the Holy Spirit, the Trinity. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Nothing else can fill the void. And so what I learned from counseling this week is that sometimes you have to go back. My counselor said, what happened to you when things went wrong, in your life? How young were you? What happened? What can you go back to that caused you to strive and fight for more? And I had to sit there a minute and recall. But I'm pretty sure it happened and started when I was 7 years old. And that's hard for me to think of, because my youngest son is 8. He just turned 8. And so for me to think that something happened to me at 7, and I told my counselor that I don't remember 7 to 9. And she encouraged me I have a great relationship with my mom. So she encouraged me to ask my mom if we could have a conversation about what happened to me, what it was like, how I acted, how I responded, what happened to me. Because I remember what my mom went through. And she said, you're a fixer, you're a helper, my counselor. You're a fixer, you're a helper. So you were trying to fix and help. And something happened to you. And I was like, this is all making sense. Funny how that happens, right? That's why I encourage Jesus and a counselor. And so I'm telling you, yes, please speak your gratitude out loud, even if it's not said to someone else, that you're just saying, like, there are times when I'll drive and I'll turn off the radio. I know, weird, right? and I'll look at things and I'll listen. And one, you can be grateful for the fact that you can hear something, right? And that I'm driving a vehicle. Maybe it's a sunny day. Maybe you see a rainbow. Or if you're out walking and you don't take music, weird again, I know. But here's the thing. This is what I also was reminded of. That people that have gone through trauma have a really difficult time sitting with themselves. We always want to be doing and going and something, right? Am I right? Yes, because I've had stuff happen to me and I can tell you that my counselor said, have you ever just sat? I'm like, sat and done what? She's like, no, just sit. She said, you need to start with 5 minutes. And if your thoughts wander, you need to bring them back. You just need to sit. Journal if you can. Afterwards, during, whatever, if that's helpful, but journal it for sure. But I thought that I was doing a good job, not doing as much, but I haven't sat or, I don't like, I can sit in the mess with anybody all day long. I'll sit in your mess. I'll talk to you about your mess. I'll help you with your mess. I'll tell you what you should do next for your mess. Because I am by nature I'm a teacher. God has gifted me with that, right? I teach you things. Do this next. Don't do that. Like, this will help you. And when you look at it for yourself, I say these things to clients, and I have friends that I bounce things off of, and godly wisdom, and I pray with them, and talk about with them different things with them. And I said, I can tell my clients this all day long, or someone going through something that comes to me and they want a mentor or help or whatever. I tell this to other people, but to tell myself that, right? So one of the most important things you need to hear too in your healing journey is that you're not ever done. Like, we can get to a place of healing, but you're not completely healed and whole until you get to heaven. And so again, we can get to a place where we're healed, like more healed, but not complete fullness, no crying, no tears, no pain, until we're in heaven. And so I encourage the healing journey, but that's the thing. Heaven's the destination. And so we're on the healing journey as long as we're here on earth. This is our pass through. And, if you're not sure about the whole heaven thing, then, reach out to me, because we need to talk about that. But this gratitude and contentment, and I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I actually didn't research this before recording this, but I think because I've studied this before, that I think theologians say that Paul was in prison when he wrote Philippians 4:12, that he knows what it's like to be in need and have enough. And then he says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So like literally sitting in a really bad, like a prison. So it was really bad, right? In the Eastern culture back then. And so these are like really bad. And what I learned recently is that if someone was in prison in certain areas, that if you didn't have family or people caring for you to bring you food, like you probably would have starved to death in these prisons. So clearly, if Paul was writing, people were bringing him stuff and he was very much cared about. I went on a little trail there, but my point is that we're going to go through things. And I encourage you and challenge you to find things to be grateful for. And if you find yourself, as I have, this drive and fight to fill more and more and more, then stop and acknowledge that, but try to figure out whether it's with a counselor or trusted, confidant, or godly counsel or pastoral counselor, or somebody that can help you navigate that, or a coach. That's what I do. I'm a coach. So any of those options are great. Lots of prayer, study your word, and reach out to someone. You can reach out to me. My website is coachbridgetlynch.com. You can find information on my new book that's releasing, CoachBridgetBooks.com. So any of those two websites, you can find me and reach out to me. And I would love to help you on your journey. And I pray that you will practice gratitude, because it is really helpful in your contentment and your healing journey. And I look forward to the next video in this 30 days and 30 ways to overcome trauma.